Welcome to the Wong Reviewer. My name is Will, where I do tech unboxing, tech reviews, and tech tutorials. In today's video, we're going to do an unboxing and review of the Kinesis Freestyle 2 keyboard. I'm going to do an unboxing, I'm going to review all the accessories it comes with, reviews the features and functions of the keyboard. I'm going to go over how I set up my keyboard to my personal preference, and give you the pros and cons of using the keyboard after 1 month as my daily driver at work. This keyboard is from a company called Kinesis, which makes other ergonomic keyboards as well. This model is the Freestyle 2 and comes pre-assembled with the VIP tinting adapters. After I destroyed the box, here is the keyboard and accessories. So first out of the box, it has the wrist pad cushions, which is peel and stick onto the keyboard. It has a QR code. If you need help setting up, you just scan it and it takes you to a video and web page. It also comes with a nicely colored illustrated user guide to show you all the different tinting options, as well as a review of the keyboard functions. The first thing I'm going to do is install the wrist pad cushions. I'm not sure why they didn't install it for you in the first place, as I'm sure most people want it on there. And this always makes me nervous because I don't want to stick it crooked and then I'm stuck with that how it looks. And so make sure you take your time, align it properly, and then stick it on. In terms of my first impressions of the quality of the build, it is made completely out of plastic and it's very lightweight. And people in my office who've come and taken a look at it and kind of lift it up and kind of review it do mention it kind of looks a bit cheap. And for the price that we paid, I think I paid over about $250 for it Canadian. They expected more of a premium quality kind of feel to it. Alright, let's flip it over and see how the tinting mechanism works on the keyboard. In terms of adjusting the tinting to the keyboard, I have to give Kinesis credit. It's very easy to adjust the tinting to the 3 different heights. So let's take a look. So there's 3 different incline settings. So this is with the legs unsnapped and it's flat. This is considered a 5-degree angle here. So if I do this, it is about 1.5 inches above. And if I flip this over and I put the legs in, so now this angle here is 10 degrees and this is flat. As you can see the big difference here. If I do 10 degrees, the angle height is about 2 inches tall. All right, so if I do this, this is a 15-degree angle. So here's a 15-degree angle. And if I put this on there, it is about 2.5 inches in height. So you can see the difference between the flat, which is the 5 angle of difference, and then this is the 15 angle of difference, and that's really high. So when you're typing, I could definitely notice a difference. Now that I know there's a 5, 10, 15 degree setting, I'm going to spend about a week playing with the different heights to see which one feels the most comfortable. So again, this is the 5 and this is the extreme, which is 15, and then if I do this, this is 10. All right, so let's start using it and then we'll figure out which is the best height for me. Okay, so after 2 weeks of using the Kinesis Freestyle 2 keyboard, I think I figured out the angle and positioning of this keyboard. So right now, the most comfortable for me is the 10-degree angle, which is this angle here. So the 10-degree angle is this short one here. So this is 15, this is 10. So the 10-degree angle is the most comfortable for me. So the next thing that I figured out after getting my angle right was, how do I want to position the keyboard? And so when I was kind of playing around with it, I found it too close, and what I've learned is I prefer to type like this. So this was the most natural and comfortable for me in terms of typing, which was 10 degrees and then kind of split out like this. So this is kind of how I like it set up. And it varies by each person, so as you're kind of playing around with it, it'll determine what's best for you, but I found that this angle was best for me. So again, 10 degrees and then kind of spaced out like this. And if I to measure it, it's about 4 inches right here. From here to here is about 4 inches wide. So this is my setup on how I'm going to be using to type. After 1 month of using the Kinesis Freestyle 2 keyboard at work, 5 to 6 hours a day typing on the computer, I found some pros and cons to using this setup. So let's start with the pros. The pros is obviously the ability to adjust the height in terms of what's most comfortable for you. Also the wrist pads is really nice too, kind of give you that nice and cushioned feeling. And the ability to kind of spread this in or out depending on the width of your shoulders. And so you have the ability to not only adjust this, which is the angle of it, but also your shoulder, which is great. So if you're a bigger guy and you want to spread it out, you can. And it's just a lot better than being confined like this while typing on a normal keyboard. And so having your shoulders kind of broaden out, I do feel a little bit better and less shoulder strain. In terms of the keyboard, it's very responsive, tactile. I don't really have any complaints about it. And in terms of noise, it's fine, especially being in an office. It's not as loud as a mechanical keyboard like I have here. Although this is a red cherry switch. So that's kind of the pros that I have for using the Kinesis Freestyle 2. Now that I finished talking about the pros, let's talk about the cons. So there are a few cons with the Kinesis Freestyle 2 keyboard after a month of using it. The first one I have is this, a USB Type A plug-in to your computer. In this day and age, I was hoping that it would be a Bluetooth enabled, so I don't have an extra cable attached to my computer running through on top of my desk. Especially for me, when I try to keep a minimalist kind of a desk top setting, having an extra cable is a really annoyance. And so I hope the future generations, it is Bluetooth enabled. The second thing I don't like about it is the keyboard layout. Especially having this row of keys here, like the directional arrow, the copy paste button, and the escape, it really kind of mucked me up in terms of muscle memory. So on a normal keyboard, such as my Microsoft Sculpt keyboard, I'm so used to having like the Control, Shift, Caps Lock, and Tab all on that side. So muscle memory, I'm kind of typing there. Here, when I'm trying to do that, I'm inadvertently hitting these sets of keys here because that's where my muscle memory is used to. And so for me, that's annoying. And even after a month, I'm still having a hard time readjusting to these side keys. And I wish they would have had these keys somewhere else or not have them on the keyboard at all and have like an extra number pad or something. So those are kind of the two annoyances I have. Another con I have is the amount of desk real estate this takes. This is a pretty big setup. So again, if you kind of have a minimalist desktop or a small desk and you have a monitor in front of you, this takes up quite a big lot of real estate on your desk. And that's kind of a third con for me. I'm hoping that, and I know why, it's because of the mouse pad here. And so it kind of extends it out, but also in terms of the width, I find is like this is pretty chunky and pretty big. So hopefully if they do come with the Kinesis 3, it's a little bit smaller, and even with a small wrist pad, and it just takes up less real estate. But again, that one's a personal preference of mine. I just like having more of a minimalist desktop setup, and this is definitely not it. All right, so that concludes the cons of the Kinesis Freestyle 2 keyboard. Overall, the pros definitely outweigh the cons in terms of the ability, again, to adjust the angle and the height and the width of the keyboard. Really makes it so that it's customizable to each and every person and not confined to just a standard layout keyboard. So in terms of ergonomics, I think it does make it feel a lot better using something like a keyboard like this, with a split keyboard. This is my first one, and overall I do recommend it, and there's nothing wrong with it. All right, so if you have any questions or comments about the Kinesis Freestyle 2 keyboard, leave it down below and I will get back to you. So in my next video, I am going to do a quick comparison against another ergonomic keyboard I've been using for about a year now, which is the Microsoft Sculpt keyboard. So I'm going to be doing a comparison video between this and which one I prefer. So if that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing to my channel. All right, thank you guys for watching, and until next time.